chicken is it's something that a lot of people think they know how to make. And if you talk to different people, they have their own individual recipes for fried chicken. This really is not about that. I'm not trying to get into different styles of fried chicken, but I'm trying something that's actually more difficult. I'm going to do air fried chicken, right? Air fryers came on the market several years ago, and they became a health alternative to fried foods. It helped you do some things quicker with food. So I have two air fryers you can see over in the corner here. Got a Power XL and a New Wave. You can kind of determine what kind of air fryer you want to use. I had to go through a couple of them before I found one that works. The two things I'm looking for is one, the size of it. It needs to be big enough to cook whatever you're cooking. And then just the flexibility in the temperature and those kinds of things. So again, this is not about that. It's just really show you how to do air fried chicken. So the history of chicken, according to some of the digital data, was it originated in Scotland. And so the Scots used to do fried chicken, deep fried, unseasoned, in fried oil. And then West Africans used to do battered chicken that was battered and so forth. So I'm not doing really either one of those. I'm going to do a little bit different version, but it really is just to show you how to do air fried chicken. Why air fried chicken? Because it's healthier. I realized when I wanted to turn my health around several years ago, there were some things I needed to cut out of my eating patterns. And I was raised in the South, which is where most fried chicken is attributed to. And so I love fried chicken. And in the South, there's two kinds of food. There is fried and deep fried. And so I loved it. I wanted to continue to enjoy it, but I also wanted to manage cholesterol, grease in my system, and so forth. So what we're going to do here is, first thing I'm going to start out is the egg wash. So I have an egg wash here. I don't have cream in it. I just have eggs in it. And let me go back. So what I did with the chicken, actually, so I brine my chicken. So what I did was, you can see a pot here. And so what I did was I used sugar, water, and then you heat it up. You can either boil it or use hot water. And then you put ice in it to cool it down. And then I leave it for at least 8 hours to brine. What's brining? So the brining gets into the muscles of the chicken, and it softens the muscle. So a lot of times when you go to restaurants, there's a famous restaurant called Willie Mae's Scotch House in New Orleans, Louisiana. And I saw her do the best with the brine. She just soaks it in her own special recipe. I'm just using salt water. And so my chicken has been brining for 8 hours. And then, as I mentioned, I've got an egg wash. And then what I've got is I've got my flour. Now, here's the difference with fried chicken air fryer style. Less is more. So you can't drench it in flour and liquids and things like that. It's a little bit harder. So it took me several times of doing fried chicken to learn how to do it the air fryer way, still make it crispy, still make it tasty, and enjoy it. All right, so I'm a spice guy. So what I did was I actually added Tabasco sauce to my egg wash. And then for the flour base, you can see I've got a nice little flour base here. You kind of see that? And so in that flour base is I've got pepper. I got coarse black pepper. I have garlic in mine. I've got Creole seasoning. I've got cayenne. Got to make it hot. Some cayenne pepper with it. I've got paprika that's also in it. And I've got coarse salt. So I've got Morton salt in that as my makeup. Again, people can do, 14 herbs and spices and things like that. And you can make it however you want to. But that's, again, this is not what this video is about. It's really about how do you make air fried chicken air fried way, right? And I still want it as tasty as if I go to the Colonel or I've got my grandmother's recipe. So I've got the meat in here. And I'm going to throw that in there. Now, I didn't do this. One of the things, I should have trimmed this up a little bit more. You should also trim up your meat. I didn't do that. I'm being a little bit lazy tonight. So I'm taking it out of my brine, which it has been in, and I'm putting it into its egg bath, right? So I got a few pieces there that are already done. And so I'm just going to do them a little bit of an egg bath here. So they're already in. So just doing an egg bath. And once I do that, an egg bath, what I'm going to do is, and I've already mixed up my season, make sure to stir everything together. So when you're doing your flouring, make sure everything is, nice and cozy. The other thing that I add in mine, you can do, I love crumbs. That's one of the things that I think for an air fryer helps it a little bit better, is doing panko crumbs. You can also use some of the shake and bake extra crispy. That's fairly inexpensive because, again, it's the crispy and it's the taste of the chicken itself. So I've got all this in here, and then I'm just gonna put them into the mixture. Now, I know Southern people used to put things in a paper bag. That was a big thing, right? You take flour, you shake it up, you put it in a paper bag, you shake it. Some people use plastic bag. So again, for this demonstration, I'm gonna make sure I flour it pretty good. So I would be close to the West Indies style of doing this, right? But I just want to make sure it's floured and coated. But again, with air frying, you can't over coat it because it's just going to take that much longer sort of to cook. But once you've got them in there, you just look at the chicken. It's fairly covered. You can see that. And where it's not, you just put a little bit more in there. So a couple of spaces that are not covered, right? So I just want to, and you want to shake off the extra, right? And so I'm going to get my air fryer ready. I'm going to use the Power XL here. And I'm just going to do like air fry, which is a selection here. So you can kind of select different ones. So as I find air fryer, right? Come on, air fryer. All right, so I got air fryer. So the standard temperature on an air fryer, like I got the standard temperature is at 360. This one's a little bit hotter at 375, but they go for 18 minutes each. So, with harder pieces, you're gonna have to probably go a little bit longer, and key is turning them, right? So now that I've got those in, all I'm gonna do is really wait for my air fryer to heat up. It turned off, so let me heat it up and just hit start. And it takes a little bit, you don't want to throw it in there cold, so let the air fryer heat up. So, all right, so here's another trick that I would say is you want to take some Crisco oil, right? You want to put some at the bottom of the air fryer, and then I'm going to throw a little bit just on the chicken, just a little bit on the chicken. It's still not going to be that greasy, but I want to just do that on, and then make sure that I've got a little bit of grease because that'll add a little bit more of the heat element to it. And if you want to just, like, after you do that, put it back in there. So I'm going to put that in there and toss the pieces a little bit more so that I want to make sure that they're good and covered. Once I do that, I'm going to stick it in the air fryer. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to come back a couple times and check it. So what I did for you, just because I'm like that, I'm that guy, what I did was I already cooked a couple pieces so you can actually look at them and see exactly how these turn out. So let's go get a couple that I got cooking over in the air fryer. So these are a couple of pieces that I have in there. They are mostly done. They probably could go another couple minutes, but just look at those. Look at those. Look how those came out. And guess what? I don't need paper towels. They're not greasy. They're covered, right? You can do a little bit more flour if you want to make sure it's covered. But I'm telling you, they're absolutely tasty for you. So again, you just do your egg batter. I'd recommend a brine. And if you don't have brine, you can also use what's called liquid amino acid. It has the same effect as brine. When you inject it, you can inject it. It will break down the muscle. I just want the chicken as tender as I can get it. In this case, it smells so good. If you could smell-o-vision, you would like this. And then once it breaks down the muscle, it's just going to be that much more tender. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk over. I'm hearing it going. It's already going. You see it's doing the countdown. So I'm just going to pick up the chicken. I've already got my grease in, so all I'm going to do is just throw that in there. Boom. And I'm just going to let it do its thing and watch it, come back and check on it every 10 minutes or so. And your chicken will turn out like this every time. If it doesn't come out like this the first time, you did something wrong. Either you had too much flour or you put too much oil, so you have to do them. So I always say recommend do a couple test pieces, and that way you check. And if you got kids, they can sample pieces and things like that, or your spouse can check it. But this is how they should come out every single time. This is your air fried chicken. Look at it a couple different angles, cut for different ways. It is tasty. And these are tough pieces to cook. This is a breast, a full breast, and you can just tell it is just good. So there you go. The life lesson is preparation. The success is in the preparation. That takes 8 hours of preparation. I didn't just open a bag of chicken, cut it up, flour, and throw it in there. So this is not about speed, right? In life, sometimes you have to prepare. I will study, I will prepare, and then my opportunity will come. I studied it. I learned from people who've done chicken. Like I said, Willie Mae's Scotch House. I think that was like my best model recipes. You can Google it. There's tons of recipes. So it's really not about the recipe itself. It's about the product at the end. And I end up with a good product that people will like and they will enjoy. So that's my demonstration of doing fried chicken, air fried style. This is Lewis Howard. Inspirational recipes for the soul. Stay tuned. We keep posting these things every day. Thank you. We have over 1,000 subscribers, and we've had over 10,000 views of the different recipes and also inspirational moments that we provide. We appreciate you. We love you. We want you to become the best version of yourself.